So question 10, H, I, J, K, H, I, J, and K, the vertices or the corners of this pyramid, is a triangle based pyramid. So the base here is a triangle again. So remember, to work out the area of triangle, you have to do the base, which is 10 here, and then times that length there, which we'll call the height, and then divide by 2. So the base HIJ is an equilateral triangle with side 10. The volume of the pyramid is 300 centimeter cube. Calculate the perpendicular height h of the pyramid. So in this question they want us to calculate the height. So they want us to work out this height. So again we have to start off with Pythagoras theorem. Pythagoras theorem says a square plus b square equals c square, which means the short side squared should say b square. So short square plus another short side square will give you the long side square. So because they told us it was an equilateral triangle with one side was 10, so if from here to here is 10, half of that must be 5. So if this is a 5, and then we can have the little box there to show it's a right angle triangle. And we know that if this was 10, this must be also 10 because it's an equilateral triangle. So from here to the midpoint was 5, and this length here was 10. So the length we want is this one here. So it's a 3 lengths of an equilateral triangle. We know one short side, we don't know what the other short side is, and we know the long side. So the unknown side we're going to leave it as y square. This short side is 5 square, and this long side is 10 square. So 5 square is 25 and 10 square is 100. So if we do 100 take away 25, we'll be left with 75. So remember, to get the y square by itself here, we need to take away 25 from both sides. So we take away 25 from this side of the equal sign, and we take away 25 from that side of the equal sign. 100 take away 25 is 75. So y square is 75. And finally, because we want y, not y square, we have to square root. So y is the square root of 75, and we'll leave it like that. This length here, we'll leave it like that. We don't want to round part way through a calculation. So going back to our formula, inside the bracket is the area of the triangle. We know that the base was 10, and we just worked out that the height was square root of 75. So you do 10 times square root of 75, and then because this is a triangle, we have to divide by 2 or multiply by half, same thing. So inside the bracket we get the area of the base, which is a triangle. Then we have to times it by a third, because that's how we work out the volume of a pyramid. And we times it by h, which is still the unknown, but we know the volume. The volume is 300 centimeter cube. So if we divide both sides by the third, or divide both sides by 3, if we divide both sides by 3, we have to multiply both sides by 3, okay? We have to multiply both sides by 3, because we're going to get rid of this third. Because we're going to get rid of this third, we multiply both sides by 3. So 300 times 3 is 900. When we multiply all of that by 3, obviously this 1/3 disappears, leaving us just with this bit here. Half times 10 times square root of 75 times the h, which is the vertical height. Then we can get rid of this times a half. How do you get times a half? We divide both sides by a half, and if you do that, you will see that you get 1,800 on the left hand side, and then on the right hand side we're just left with this. So going from this line to this line, we'll just get rid of this times a half. Remember, times half is the same as dividing by 2. So all we're saying is we're going to multiply both sides by 2 to get rid of this times by a half. So 900 times 2 is 1,800. This half will disappear, and we'll be left with just that. 10 times square root of 75 times h. I've said disappear, I mean cancel out. Cancel out. Finally, we've got times 10 bit here. Again, if we just divide both sides by 10, we get 180 equals square root of 75 times h. And then finally, to get h by itself, just 180 divided by square root of 75 will give you h, which is 20.78 centimeter. It's a height, it's a length. What you could have done at this stage here is actually work out, just do a half times 10 times square root of 75 times a third. Whatever the answer was, just do 300 divided by that, and that will get your answer. So I'll repeat that one more time. If we just did at this stage on this line here, you could have just done a half times the 10 times the square root of 75, which gives you the area of the base, times it by a third. Whatever the answer was here, if you do 300 divided by that answer here, you'll get the answer to H. This is a step-by-step, a longer way of doing this. All of this working out here. So the final answer was 20.78 centimeters.